So let's talk about your company. What's the name of your security company?
MagnoSec Corp that's the name of my company. I started in Puerto Rico, but I was a private investigator, and we were focused on doing private investigation to companies and people. And I got a lot of clients, and also more about truck drivers
Mm-hmm.
that they were using the vehicles to do like personal work. And so they said, yeah, I'm doing another, like related to their own work, but no, they were doing personal, using their vehicles to do another stuff,
So they
moving,
hired you to go
yeah,
investigate it?
to follow them and to make sure that they're doing the route that they're supposed to do.
Okay.
So that's how they clean.
And
And then after that, I went to Iraq and then Afghanistan. And when I finished the whole thing, I came back to Florida and I started again. I came back to with an insane name, but now instead Detective MagnoSec, I did MagnoSec Corp.
okay.
So through MagnoSec Corp, I registered in Florida,
Yeah.
and I started in 2017.
Okay.
Yeah. I started with zero, but then I bought another company, so I grew through merchant acquisitions.
Okay.
So that was my strategy number one, and then I grew through my course.
So grow through acquisitions, but everybody's been through some sort of it, but you recovered. It just happens, right? If you're going to taking steps and making action, you're going to find yourself in a position where you lose some money. But
Exactly.
you basically found out that a customer that a acquisition target that you bought had W-2 as employees, which is required in the state of Florida.
Yes. So the valuation of that company that I bought was 300 grand. So I had like 4 or 5 companies that I will buy. What I thought was, well, let's start small. Let me go with the 300 grand, not really big deal. And I didn't know at that time that pretty much almost everybody lie on their numbers. And then you will have to do the due diligence, or good due diligence, in order to determine the real price. And in specifically this one, I really thought that everything was set. Even the bank checked and everything was set. But then once we signed and closed the deal and everything, then we found out that you cannot pay the employees through 1099, which he told me that that's how he has been doing it for the last 18 years. I mean, 18 years. Come on. So I really thought that was the way it was supposed to be.
And then Florida State said, no, security companies have to be W-2 because you have to insure them.
Protect the client. But
Yeah.
if they are 1099, then everybody's supposed to have their own insurance, which is not real. It's
So,
not realistic.
so you got a lesson learned in due diligence, and that only cost you 100-something grand.
Not 100 grand.
So that's a bad, but you recovered.
Mm-hmm.
Tell somebody how to scale not only a security service company, but also your professional services, your agency. You're kind of like what you do is a model for a lot of people. What are some of the smartest things that you did to scale?
Okay, so the top number one thing is that you have to lead by example. You really have to show everybody who you are and your actions. And if that means you don't sleep, then you don't sleep. And when you're starting, that's the way it is. So when I started and I saw how bad things were happening, even that according to my business plan, everything was going to be perfect. If you check every single business plan, you're winning, but that's not realistic. Clients will try to, more service for less, and everybody, insurance are raising all the time. So in reality, you still need to, I mean, if you don't prove the bank that you still have some profit, then they will not be able to give you credits or loans or anything like that. You have to show that you are still making some profit. So the top number one is leading by example, and you have to show everybody, you have to show character, and you have to be present.
To get people to follow you and do whatever you ask them.
Yeah, employees have to see you in the street.
Your second point is you got to know your numbers, is what you were saying.
You have to.
And how do you do that? Do you do that daily, weekly?
Daily.
Okay. So you get an end of the report day of what your costs and expenses were, and you dial it in pretty close to what your profitability was.
So I have 2 bank accounts. One is everything that's come in, and the other bank accounts, everything will come out. Yeah. But you have to see both every day. You have to see everything and all your credit cards and everything. I have a QuickBook, but you can use. And then every day I check my numbers and I see my transaction and what is the transactions that are coming.
Do you find yourself having to adjust your pricing or your contracts a lot because of that, of the changes? You said the insurance is going up, all that. Or is it like quarterly? How often do you make changes, like significant pricing or contract changes?
So when I start with a client, I will always try to offer only the minimum. I really want them to pay the minimum possible, but then the minimum that I can still afford a good officer. If it's a bad officer, it's a bad officer. I still need to be able to afford a good officer. But then I have to present it to them. And once they accept, then it takes me 30 to 60 days for me to get paid. So I still need credit, a credit line to pay all my officers and insurance and the sales tax and everything. Then I get paid. So of course, the numbers have to make sense, but in reality, I don't think about short term. I think about long term. If I provide a really, really good service on the long term, I will be able to win. You have to build the relationship. You have to show them first that you are able to provide the service. Then 60 days later, that I prove myself, I get paid.
Okay, good.
Basically.
Yeah,
I have the officer, I have the supervisor, and I have technology.
yeah,
Officers have to do checkpoints every 30 minutes. I'm constantly tracking them,
that's good.
and reports are daily.
Good.
Yeah.
So you're on top of the numbers and the operations and the client. And are you the salesperson, top salesperson, only salesperson?
I used to have one, but they were not closing.
Okay. Well, but you're a good founder closer, so you have a sales ability. You said something interesting, I think is worth sharing to a bilingual community. You said that your English posts on LinkedIn and X do very well in English, but you learned through testing that when you post in Spanish on Meta and TikTok, that it converts even better than English and LinkedIn.
I think that is because of the algorithm that they have. People were following me, even more Spanish speakers. So when I started to speak in English, and these guys were not following me at all, or they were leaving me, and the real English speakers were not following it that much. So maybe the algorithm in Facebook were not like tracking or not promoting me that much. So what I did is I started to do a test, and I said, well, let me change language. Let me speak only Spanish for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And then let me speak only in English for X and LinkedIn. And now this is about 6 months testing. I was speaking both languages everywhere, and then that's how I catch.
Interesting.
Yeah, even in X, try to go to only Spanish. Yeah, English.
So that's good to know for people who are bilingual, have a bilingual customer base, and that's really good info.
If you speak in both languages in one channel, for some reason I feel they are not that smart to determine who you are serving.
Okay.
So then I will send this specifically for these English speakers.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
At least that was not my experience.
So from North America, this is your testing, and this is what you've proven to say, and you get a big international audience off of TikTok. You said, right?
I do. TikTok. As soon as I started to speak Spanish, suddenly I had 10,000, 50,000, 250,000 views.
That's amazing. You are interested in doing growth through acquisition. You are acquiring and open to buy other security service companies, doing 1 to 5 mil.
5 mil.
Okay.
Yes.
And you are fully funded, quick to close. You're able to do due diligence quickly.
Yes.
You will make it painless for an owner, operator, seller to get through the process. You've done this before. You have a good reputation. So this part of the reel will be that you are open to making offers to other companies, right?
Yes. And there are people that they want to sell, but they don't want to sell today. They want to be able to sell later. They want to start with a partnership, or sometimes they need somebody to start with the help with the operations, or finance, etc. Depending, everybody's different. And in the right time, they will sell. And even the client, they have good relationship with the clients, and they want to make sure that everything will be run smoothly.
Yeah, I've heard of the term for the acqui-hire is acquiring the business, but letting the founder stay. Call it acqui-hire, and because you're not really trying to change a whole bunch of stuff, right? So you're open to that as well.
Yes. You see, it's interesting because some banks, they don't want that. Some bankers, they tell me, I'm willing to give you 5 mil, but the owner has to leave in 1 year.
Okay.
That's what they say.
From a bank?
Why?
And
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Told me that in 1 year, they're going to leave.
Maybe that's because I could foresee some issues come up. Hey, you're messing with my baby. Now I'm going to start fighting you. We're going to have problems. Now the bank has a problem. Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that could be a potential problem. Okay. I've never heard that before, but that's interesting. Okay, cool. Can we talk about do you want to share your numbers, by the way?
Right now, we're in 7 figures.
So you're multi 7 figures. You're doing very well. You started this from scratch and you've scaled it.
Zero.
Okay.
I
So
started
it's
from zero.
you can do that. People can do that. All you need is a mission-driven goal. Stay the course, push hard.
Really hard.
You're gonna lose 100 grand here and there.
You will lose.
It doesn't matter when you're
Yes.
making millions.
Exactly. If you don't quit, you will be a millionaire for sure.
Okay, to wrap this up, we're gonna start with the beginning where I should have started is your background. I know you had a top secret clearance and your secret clearance, and then you did a lot of government contracting and were deployed to a lot of dangerous areas. Can you talk about that or tell us some interesting stories and then how it folds into where you are now?
Yes, I started I first started as a law enforcement officer in Puerto Rico, and I started first as a highway patrol. Then I did a criminal investigator, and then I was a task force agent with Homeland Security in undercover operations. So I have a good background and experience as a criminal investigator. So one day I saw a movie. It was a Hotel Rwanda, and it was about the blue helmet peacekeepers saving the world, and they were in Africa. I think it was Africa, in Liberia was? Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. So then this, Hutu, they were ethnics that were killing each other, and one killed like more than 100,000 with machetes and things like that. And the blue helmet, they try to help. They actually save life. So when I saw that in that danger, that adrenaline and being able to help people and protect them as much as possible, I said, that's what I want. That will be my top number one work in my life. Go and traveling all over the world. I'm telling you, when I saw it, I said, yes, that's what I want. And then a friend of mine told me, but you can. No, I can. He actually found online that in US, you can be a peacekeeper if you have law enforcement experience through the law enforcement program that DOS has. And what they do, DOS, is they hire a security company and they give them a contract to send them to represent the US through the UN. So that's what he gave me the website and I applied. We actually both applied, and they called us both. And then he got scared because he saw the news and some people killed somebody else, and he said,
No, I'm not going.
yeah, no, I'm not going. It's way too dangerous. So he decided not to. But it was, I really wanted to go and have that experience. So yeah, in 2005, I was the first Puerto Rican to be accepted to work with the United Nations in Haiti,
Wow.
MINUSTA mission.
Oh,
And I did that. I did almost 2 years.
You did UN peacekeeper mission in Haiti, and then you went to NATO.
Yeah, after that was 06. Then in 07, I went to Iraq with DOS, also through another military contractor company. Then I came back. And in 2011 to 2016, I was in Afghanistan.
Wow.
So yeah, after 2016, I left because I went to Mexico to train. But you see, in Haiti, Iraq, and Afghanistan, you train, but you also have to conduct operations because you have to be with the officer and you have to go to the street and you have to teach them in the street. So as soon as the first bullet pass, you are teaching them how to react. Yeah, interesting.
Okay.
But once I finished my mission in 2016, I went to Mexico. And then in Mexico, you don't have to conduct the operations with them. You only teach.
Okay, cool.
So then I go to the police department and then I teach them. I'm there for a month. I train them and then they go with their own commander. I did 5 years in Mexico. They sent me to Africa. I went to Congo. I went to Djibouti.
I was there in Djibouti. Do you know what the capital of Djibouti is? Djibouti.
Yeah,
It's called
Djibouti.
Djibouti.
Yeah.
They have a Navy base there. I was there.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. I was having a haircut in the Djibouti,
Oh,
and a
really?
friend of mine who was in the Navy, who was a police officer with me in Puerto Rico, and Lam, what the
No.
fuck? What?
Yeah.
That was cool.
Okay.
And then I went to Egypt, and I have been all over South America and Central America.
Cool.
Yeah, it was very interesting. But then with the COVID, when COVID happened, then they stopped missions. So I focus on my company,
Okay.
and that's how I grew. I wish I could say the same thing about you, but you're always traveling. You're all over the world. Every time I see you in some area, and then the next day you're in another state or another country, you're traveling a lot.
I am. And I'm trying to meet as many people as possible, speak to as many groups as possible. I joined some cohorts, very smart entrepreneurs who are
Okay.
teaching me a thing or two. And then
Okay.
sometimes I get on stage and I teach them a thing or two. So it's been good for me in my business.
I want to be like you when I grow up. I want to be like you, just like you.
Well, there's nothing like being at home after being home for 2 to 4 weeks. I can tell you
Yeah.
that. Although when you're in Cabo in July and it's 72 degrees, that's hard to beat.
Yeah.
Breezy and cool.
I was gold in Delta membership, and now I'm silver because I'm not traveling like before. But
Okay.
you are what?
I'm Diamond.
Look at that.
my
Diamond.
kids always go, Mr. Diamond Elite. I'm like, that means I get free upgrades. I get free first class because I would never pay $500 for a first class seat. I would never do that. But I love getting on the plane and turning left and being the first one.
Me one time they gave me first class.
I would never pay for that, but it is a nice perk. And I want to do business in Dubai. Like everybody, it seems like all successful entrepreneurs are setting up a bank account, go to Dubai, set up a bank account, and set up a EIN, business registration, and make some connections.
Yeah, that's how I got my gold in Dubai.
Oh,
So I
really?
went to Dubai. Yeah, I've been there like 16 times, and come and go. But I was, with the military was paying me pretty much everything.
You were doing your military contracting.
I was not a soldier, but yeah. Thing you cannot.
And so you've been scaling since COVID, so you really are
Exactly.
a rapid mission. Okay, it's very doable. All you have to do is pay attention to the numbers.
Yes.
Go, go, go.
And be all in.
If you take a $100,000 hit, just don't worry, you're going to recover. It's a lesson learned. What else? Anything else you want to tell the up-and-coming entrepreneurs who are looking at you as a model about how to do a service company, a protection company?
You will not be able to grow all. You still need good mentors or good consultant people that pass for whatever you're going to do. Example, somebody like you. If they have somebody like you, it's almost 100% guaranteed that they will succeed. So they will succeed if they don't quit. Because you can tell them what to do and that, but they still need to go and lead by example.
They have to have the drive and the mission, the energy to go and make the changes.
Exactly.
A lot of them know that they have problems. They don't know what the solutions are. But you listen to people like I did. I paid to be in masterminds.
Yeah. So you're going to do it by yourself. You need leaders. You need to lead, and you need other leaders with you.
Yeah. And they learn what they did and mistakes they made and everything else.
Exactly. Depending on your goal. If your goal is that big, not alone.
How do your name and your company and how do people get in touch with you?
Lemuel Rivera, MagnoSec Corp. Okay. If you go to LinkedIn or the company magnosec.com.
Okay, cool. And we'll put that in the link in the comments field too. So I've known you for a long time. You're an inspiration.
Thank you.
I'm glad we got to meet up here in your hometown now, Orlando, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Some good clips there. I like it.
I feel bad because he's so tolerant.
Awesome. Cool.